do you not have to wear a mask? I'm lying these days. I'm saying I've got asthma. Bullshitting.
I'd like to raise this to your attention, if I may. We've got a Tommy fan here, an Asian Tommy fan. And remember, Tommy fans in general do claim to have this high level of succour and concern for all things British, especially concern and succour for British people. But you're not going to see anything of the sort in this video. What you're going to see is precisely the opposite of that. You're going to see a flagrant disregard for any reverence for British law and order. This person has zero respect for British law and order and customs here. If we were to take this snippet as being representative of his whole persona and what he's about, but we'll get onto that in a few moments' time. I've got to give you some level of backdrop here. So, as mentioned, he's a Robinsonite, an Asian Robinsonite. He's travelling via train from London St Pancras. So that's near King's Cross, or that is part of King's Cross, if I recall correctly. And he's travelling to somewhere in Lower Towlerland, South Yorkshire. I've got to let you know, the wearing of masks became a requirement on June the 15th. He was travelling on the 6th of July. So he's in that period where it's compulsory to wear a mask whilst he's on that train.
Let's meet up. Anyone who's based in Yorkshire. Oh, you're in Sheffield. Let's meet up, guys.
Maybe Laura Towler would like to meet him. Who knows?
Well, we're just waiting here at London St Pancras, so we'll give you some more information. Please be patient, and we'll pass this directly on to you.
Blah blah blah. Do you not have to wear a mask? I'm lying these days. I'm saying I've got asthma. Bullshitting. Lots of trouble in Sheffield Street. Oh yeah, but do you not have to wear a mask? I'm lying these days. I'm saying I've got asthma. Bullshitting. Sorry guys, I don't really particularly like wearing a mask. So that's one excuse I can make. But yeah, lots of trouble in Serena. If you can let me know what's happening in Sheffield, I will definitely cover that up for you. All of you actually. So,
and you can check this out for yourself. There's a record of this on the government website, which states from the 15th of June, face coverings will be required whilst using public transport in England. That's the subheading of that particular web page. The government website outlines a bit of a rationale or reasoning behind this decision, and it contrasts this with the decision not to enforce the same rule on places like shops, for example. It states, when necessary to use public transport, people may be more likely to be in enclosed spaces for longer periods of time where we know there's a greater risk of the spread of the virus, and social distancing is likely to be difficult to follow consistently. This differs from enclosed spaces like shops, for example, where people can more easily go outside if social distancing is not possible, and where shop owners can place limits on the number of customers allowed inside at any one time. So it goes through a little bit of a rationale, which makes sense. You're more likely to put somebody in harm's way whilst being on a train as opposed to being a customer in a shop. This all makes sense. The government website also goes on to discuss how it views people who would not comply with this particular demand. It likens them to ticket dodgers, which is quite interesting, basically dishonest people. And we know this is an individual who admits to being dishonest.
I'm lying these days. I'm saying I've got asthma. bullshitting.
It states the changes will be made under legislation such as the National Rail Conditions of Travel and Public Service Vehicle Regulations for buses. While the government expects the vast majority of people to comply with the changes, operators will be able to refuse travel or issue penalty fines for those who fail to wear a face covering. In a similar way to the rules on having a ticket for travel, British Transport Police will also support the implementation of these changes. And I do want to stress this applies to all forms of public transport. It lists them: buses, coaches, trains, trams, ferries and aircraft passengers must wear a face covering on their journey. Okay, he's breathing around, perhaps he's coughing on this train journey, which is a lengthy journey from London to Yorkshire, right? Okay, he's going to be breathing over the table, over the seats and all over the train. Does he not have any consideration for people who are more vulnerable? There's a number of people who have pre-existing medical conditions that make them more prone to this virus. And there's irony in this. There's irony in this because he's willing to make a false declaration and claim that he's got a pre-existing medical condition, a breathing condition such as asthma, in order to avoid having to wear this mask in order to shield people who actually do have such conditions. There's irony there. Let's see if the Civnats and the Tommy community, or I know they've been described as a cult, but I'm not going to call them such. Yeah, I'm going to call them a community. I'd really be interested to see whether they will disassociate, disavow and condemn this man and his action. Just want to posit an addendum onto this video. The recording's already been made, so I don't really want to go through the recording again. I did say in this video that his actions, the actions of this man, are indicative of a man who has zero respect for law and order. I want to rescind this statement, retract it, because it's unfair. He's basically transgressed regulations, so British regulations. He seems to have an issue with British regulations and the general sentiment of courtesy and British politeness. That's what he has an issue with. If we were to take this particular episode and use that as an indication of his whole, the way he actually behaves and lives his life. I do also want to state, for those who are unaware of this gentleman, even though he's an Asian, he's not of the Islamic faith, he's not a Muslim. Do keep that in mind, especially for those Civnats on the Tommy cabal who want to jump on him, believing that he's some sort of Muslim, deliberately trying to spread the coronavirus across Britain. He's not of that faith. Now you've got a bit of an issue, haven't you? Because you would have piped up if he was of that faith, but now you know he's not. It'll be very interesting to see how you react, whether you will actually condemn him or whether this man will get a free pass because you can't pursue a Zionist agenda. In this case, it'll be quite revealing. Your actions or lack of actions in this regard will certainly be quite revealing.